What's up, guys? Welcome back to BornFit Journey. This is episode 3, and to be completely candid, I have filmed this video twice before already. And both times when I was watching it back, I just felt like I was giving too much fluff, and I wasn't really giving the true insights into what's going on personally and business-wise. It just felt a little stale. I felt like I was doing the same thing, giving just updates as to where I'm at right now and what I'm gonna do moving forward. And I said, fuck that. I want to give you guys real insights, a completely unfiltered truth. So with that said, I'm going to dive right into it. Let's get started. Alright, welcome to the front desk setup. This is where the magic happens. Seriously though, this is where I take a lot of the sales calls that I have, where I do a lot of my programming and just get a lot of work done overall. So yeah, front desk for now. Anyways, what I want to start out by talking about is, I would say the overlooked parts of starting a business that when I was doing it, I felt like there aren't many resources out there or people who talk about them. And a lot of it was confusing for me. So I'm just going to talk about some of these like overlooked details. First of which is forming an LLC. So the steps for that, this is pretty simple, but you just go to your state government's website. So for me, I looked up newyorkstate.gov, and you just have to search up the LLC name you want to make sure it's not already taken. And assuming it's not, then you can just go ahead and submit a form for that LLC name. The fee for it is like $200, and then if you want a certificate to go along with that, that's an additional expense. They want to take all your money as much as they can. But yeah, then they take about like 5 to 7 days to process it and then get back to you with your actual certification and formation. On that note, you also, this is dependent on your state, but within New York State, you need to get your LLC formation published in at least 2 newspapers within the first, 120 days of opening. And so that's another thing. And again, I was clueless in terms of what I needed to do. So after doing the research to figure out what I needed to do, I realized it was just going to be a lot of work to do independently. So I chose to outsource it. I think the company's name is literally publishmyllc.com. So I contacted them, and they handled the entire process for just, I think it was like $550, which, sure, it sounds like a lot of money, but it saved a ton of headache and a ton of time and energy on my part, so that's why I did that. The next thing to do is you gotta set up a bank account for your business, because you gotta earn the money, you gotta store the money somewhere. So that's another thing, like just figuring out which bank makes the most sense for you. Candidly, I just went with American Express because there were no fees on the account. They do have a mobile app, but pretty much every bank has a mobile app nowadays. So you really can't go wrong with any bank. Just choose the one that makes the most sense for you. I just didn't want to get charged any fees because I thought that was dumb. So I went with American Express. On that note, after you set up a bank account, then you need to get your federal tax identification number in order to legally accept money or something like that. I don't know why you need it, but you need it. It's called an EIN number. Anyways, it's similar to the LLC formation, right? You just go into your local state government website, and then you just submit a form. The one that I did, you get confirmation of that EIN upon filling out the form or upon submitting it. Again, it's another fee that you gotta pay. So a lot of little fees here and there. They're just trying to grab your money as much as they can. So EIN. After that, what else? After that, the most important thing is to make sure you're covered liability-wise. So for a fitness studio, I'm sure this applies to a lot of other service-based, brick and mortars, but we got general liability insurance and then professional liability insurance. And again, this is specific to brick and mortars, but within the lease you sign, they'll typically indicate, the terms of the liability that they require. So for me, I needed up to $2 million in aggregate. So that's, that dictated the type of plan that I had to go for. In terms of finding the right insurance plan, again, there's so many options out there. So just gets overwhelming quickly. After a lot of research, I went with Simply Business. It's an online platform that they aren't the actual insurance provider, but they make the whole process extremely simple, very easy to follow. You can just get a quote online, and then you can just purchase the plan right through their website once you fill out your information to get the quote, and then you get the certificate of liability or certificate of insurance right upon payment. So that's why I went with that. It was just quick, easy, very simple, straightforward. So that's Simply Business for insurance. And then assuming you're hiring employees, which currently I'm not. So this is not something I had to do, but you also need to get workers insurance, so like workers' compensation insurance, workers' liability insurance, workers' disability, stuff, all like that. I'm sure when I do dive into it, I will have a much better understanding of what's encompassed in there, so stay tuned for that. But definitely making sure your employees are covered, depending on the type of business model you have, obviously. So that's it on insurance for the most part. And then lastly, there are just a lot of local regulations that you gotta follow. For example, just to get the sign on my front wall approved, I had to go through my town's architectural board. I had to attend one of their meetings, and just a whole lot of bureaucracy. Again, fines galore. It was like $200 in total to get the sign permit and then the certificate of occupancy, like from the building permit. So again, just a lot of little things here and there that you need to make sure that you're on top of, because if you're not, then somebody might walk through the door from the town or from the state and come along with a big fine for you. And that's something I wanted to avoid for sure. So that's pretty much it in terms of what goes into actually starting a business. After that, all you gotta do is sell things to people for money, ideally less money than it costs you to deliver it. So high level business stuff right here. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of like all the little details that go overlooked. Not much else to cover on that. My goal with this next segment is to give you guys the complete truth and nothing but the truth in terms of what it's actually like to be a business owner. I'm gonna try to not make it depressing, but the first word that comes to mind is loneliness. Because to be honest, as a solopreneur, so just me running the show, it's been a very lonely couple of weeks. Because one thing that I feel is that I don't have many people in my life that understand me, or that actually understand what I'm going through, and that I can share my feelings with or express the way I'm feeling in a way that doesn't sound like I'm just looking for pity. Because a lot of times, like, it's hard to have people in your life who, when you enter a new stage of your life, something like this, it's a very difficult and lonely phase, because you are very different from maybe the people that you used to be friends with or who you grew up with. Like you are no longer identifying yourself with that crowd of people, and now you're in pursuit of chasing this different type of crowd of really successful entrepreneurs or people who you are aspiring to be like, but you're not there yet. So you're I'm not going to say like you're different from the people that you used to be like, but in a sense you are no longer that type of person. So you don't fit in with your old crowd, and you're not at the level where you can fit in with your new crowd yet. So you're just in this middle zone by yourself. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it, like loneliness and being misunderstood going hand in hand. I'd say the hardest part about it is just that it's the people that you're so close to who you can't even go to them to talk to. Like, my family members in particular, like, candidly, I don't have many friends. I don't have many people that I'm really deeply close with in my life that I can go to and talk to. And so, even when I'm trying to talk to my family members about this stuff, it sometimes just goes over their head, or it just gets misconstrued, and partially probably on my end because I'm not explaining it the right way or whatever. But there are many times, especially in these past couple of weeks, where I've wanted to vent and I've wanted to just fucking not complain, but just vent to the people around me and just try to express the way I'm feeling, just to let go a little bit. But I speak on that to the people around me, and then they just turn it right back on me and saying like, oh, well, you chose to do this, you signed up for this shit. No fucking shit, I signed up for this, but that doesn't change the way I'm feeling. And that right there, like, that ticked me off a lot. Like, that's happened a number of times lately, and at a certain point, I'm like, okay, I'm just not gonna bother. Fuck it. I'm upset. I'm lonely. I have all this shit going on that I want to talk about, but nobody cares to listen, and nobody really gives a shit at the end of the day. So fuck it. I'll just keep it to myself, keep my head down, and fucking grind. That's truly the mindset that I've had lately. It's just, I understand that I'm sort of in this on my own for the foreseeable future, and that's it. You know, if you're somebody who doesn't do well with loneliness, I would definitely recommend not starting a business on your own. Find a partner, find somebody that you trust, that you can rely on, and that brings something to the table. So not just signing up with a partner just because you don't want to be lonely, but making sure that there are synergies between the two of you, or the three of you, or whatever. Because if you're just getting into business with somebody who has like the same exact skill set, and you guys both bring the same exact things to the table, and there's no real synergy. It's just the same person doing just two of the same people doing the same work. So make sure that if you're going to get into a partnership, that there are synergies, and that you can rely on the person and trust them wholeheartedly. That is huge for sure. But yeah, that's definitely an insight, like a real insight into what I'm feeling lately. It's just a cohort of loneliness and I would just say like a relinquishment of optimism. Not a relinquishment of optimism, a relinquishment of uninformed optimism. Like, when I first set out and I first envisioned this studio, for whatever, like when you're just imagining shit, it sometimes seems easy in your head. You're like, oh yeah, this is easy, I can do this. What I will say is that once you know what it takes to have a successful business, it is simple, but not easy by any means. Lately, like, life has just been extremely monotonous for me. Just waking up, working, doing the same thing over and over and over again, going to bed, waking up, doing the same thing over and over again, working. That's it. So it's just been like this cycle of doing the same shit over and over again, and it gets boring. I want to spice it up, but right now, the model I'm living by is simple scales and fancy fails. So just committing to doing the fundamentals every single day. Sure, it's boring. Sure, it's getting a little monotonous, but this is what it takes to create a big business long term. So again, like in terms of where I envision BornFit moving forward, I don't think I've even scratched 1% of total growth, like where this company can go. It's incredible. Like, it's in the incubator phase, no doubt. So it's just like I need to be patient in the macro right now, very patient. And that's another struggle that I've been dealing with, because I'm definitely like a hyperactive ADD type personality. I like to just do shit, try new shit, continue to experiment, and I am doing a little bit of that in the micro here, but macro, just doing the same things over and over again, like following up with leads as many times as I need to, doing all the right programming, making sure that all my clients are taken care of, doing my check-ins every single day, doing the training sessions, obviously, and making sure that this place is set up, prepared ahead of every single training session, and when it's done, cleaning up, making sure that it's tidy, looks good. It's just the same stuff over and over again. So, just to summarize, in terms of real insights into what it's like being a business owner, the two words that I would use are lonely and monotonous. So there you go.